Wednesday, January 23rd edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East. We have dry Arctic air in place all around the region. Very cold start to our day out there all around the entire southeastern part of the country, really, especially the upper southeast. I'll run down temperatures here across our region in just a second. Again, the radar very quiet with this dry air in place, just a few lake effect snow areas in parts of the Great Lakes region, but that's about it in terms of the eastern United States precip. Just very little to show you on the radar this morning across the central and eastern United States. Now, we do have a little area of low pressure that's associated with a little bit of snow that's been moving through parts of the Ohio Valley over the last 24 hours. That's a little clipper, and that's heading our way. That'll swing through tonight. More on that in just a second. But as far as today is concerned, another dry day and another chilly day. Our highs probably upper 30s and lower 40s in many spots in the Piedmont and foothills today. There's your temperatures. It is 22 in Greensboro, 20 in Raleigh, 24 in Charlotte. Many locations around the viewing areas there that I just mentioned are in the teens. This morning there's some single digits up in the mountains in some spots. So just a very cold January morning unfolding. Look at these dew point temperatures. 2 degrees, the dew point in Greensboro, 8 in Raleigh. Parts of our area had sub-zero dew point temperatures for a good bit of time yesterday. You probably noticed that static electricity, and we're going to have a lot of this dry Arctic air still with us here for the next several days. Now, as we go through today, maybe some mid and high level clouds working in, and then tonight with that little clipper system and the backdoor cold front associated with it, we might see a few snow flurries in some spots. Not a big deal, but the ground is so cold now, and the air is just so cold as well. If there were a decent little patch of some flurries or a brief snow shower, there could be a couple spots that get the ground whitened late tonight, but again, this is just going to be really a novelty more than anything else, and that will reinforce the cold, dry air tomorrow. Tomorrow will be colder again compared to today. And just want to show you this very quickly. We are not alone with the cold air. There's lots of it across the eastern United States, even New Orleans in the upper 30s. It's 11 in Omaha, 6 in Buffalo, 16 in our nation's capital. All right, in just a second I'll talk about our system for Friday. A lot of folks talking about that already. Today, again, kind of ran down how that looks on the RPM modeling, but another chilly day for sure across the region. Then even colder tomorrow, and a fresh batch of cold, dry air moving in, a pretty stiff north wind, and so it's going to be a very brisk day across the region tomorrow. And then we get out to our next storm system. All right, let me step you through some of the modeling. For instance, there's the GFS as the system moves in, and this is the 0-0, and I just saw the 6-0 run, and it's very similar, and really not generating a ton of precipitation once you get east of the mountains. But other models do generate more precip. There is the European model, and it's certainly putting out a lot more in the way of precipitation. Now, this is not going to be a huge storm system, but the question is, do we have enough precipitation to cause any issues as we go through Friday? All right, so that's the European. Up at 850 millibars in the European, there's your freezing line south of I-40. So I think you'd be looking at, there's 850 temperatures, and there's your surface temperature. So I think if the European solution was correct, you'd be looking at a wintry mix, say around Charlotte, and a quick shot of some snow in the mountains and through the I-40 corridor. Let's take a look at the Canadian. And it is also more moisture generated there on the Canadian than the GFS, and there's your freezing line up at 5,000 feet, slightly further north than the European, so you'd be looking at a wintry mix in southern North Carolina, depending on surface temperatures, and some snow across northern North Carolina. Let me show you the NAM. I believe I put those charts in here. Here we go. All right, there's the 6Z NAM. And that's the precipitation it generates through a portion of Friday afternoon. And then we go 3 hours later, and that precipitation moves further to the east. Now, at the same time, check out the NAM in terms of surface temperatures. And this is at 21Z Friday, so this is mid-afternoon. You have the freezing line way down into South Carolina and northeast Georgia. And then let's see, the freezing line just gradually, slowly works northward. This is out at 0Z Saturday, so that freezing line is still very far south. I didn't put the 850 millibar temperatures in there, but I did look at some of the Buffget data, and on the NAM, You have snow in roughly that area, and a wintry mix south of that, down in the upstate and even northeast Georgia too. The question, though, and it's a big question, is the precipitation. How much will there be? Will there be enough to be anything of significance? Now, here's the HPC 1-inch snow probabilities for Friday. So you're looking at certainly the greatest chances in the mountains and across northern North Carolina. And there's your 4-inch snow probabilities. There's just not enough precipitation probably for any totals that high in most spots. And let me see if I can find the ice. Here we go. The ice. This is 1/10 of an inch. The probabilities of ice on Thursday. So this is the system is beginning to move in, and then we get out to day 3, Friday, and there's your probabilities of 1/10 of an inch of ice, and there's your probabilities right there of 1/4 of an inch of ice. So really the cold air in most spots is not the question mark with this system. The question mark is moisture, and will there be enough that survives the trek over the mountains and makes it east of the mountains to bring us any decent amounts of wintry precip. We'll see. It's a tough call right now. The air mass is bone dry, so if you're hoping for a big-time system, I wouldn't hold your breath. However, with the ground being as cold as it's going to be and the temperatures being as chilly as they're going to be, it does not take much wintry precip, especially if it's some type of wintry mix, to cause some big problems on the roadways. So that is definitely going to be something for us to watch as we go into Friday to see if we can generate enough precip to cause some issues across the region. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.